Hey, I'm Stu. I'm the co-founder of Type. It's an AI writing product that helps you write and edit faster. In this video, I'll share 5 pieces of prompting advice that can turn pretty much any language model into a helpful writing assistant. Some of my experiments with AI and writing have wound up in the New York Times and OpenAI's blog. In this video though, I'll focus on the simplest and most impactful prompting techniques. If you remember anything at all from this video, remember this. Language models are trained to give you the most likely response given some input. But good writing is often highly original and even surprising. So to get AI to help us write, we often have to ask it to behave a little bit differently than it otherwise would. All right, my first piece of advice is to state the obvious. A lot of things that seem super obvious to you are actually a little bit outside of the norm or the average. For example, if you're asking AI to write a tweet or whatever it's currently called, it might include hashtags and emojis. And that's just because a lot of tweets do use hashtags, but they kind of feel spammy and promotional. So you can literally just tell the AI, yo, don't use hashtags, don't use emojis, please. It's obviously a little annoying that you have to ask that, but it's better than the alternative. All right, tip 2. Remember how I said language models tend to respond with what's most likely? The easiest way to override this behavior is to just use adjectives like surprising, insightful, counterintuitive, interesting. For example, imagine you run a lawn care business. You're brainstorming ideas for a marketing email. Instead of just asking for a list of ideas, you might add a couple of adjectives like surprising or insightful to your prompt to give the AI permission to think outside the box. All right, tip 3, describe your audience. Good writing often speaks to a very specific problem for a very specific type of person. If a language model doesn't know who you're writing for, it's just gonna struggle to speak to the things they care about. For example, if I was writing a cold email to someone who runs a small law firm, I might mention that they probably wanna grow their business without hiring or spending a ton more money. Just that simple detail will guide the output towards a more useful result. Sometimes it's just hard to articulate what we want. For example, if we have a very specific style or tone or format that we want to write in, it's just difficult to boil that into a set of instructions. In those cases, just provide an example or two of what good output looks like. Maybe it's a sales email that's performed well in the past, or a blog post from a competitor that you think is good. Type has a feature specifically designed to mimic the voice and format of any piece of writing. But you can also try to do this in ChatGPT by just pasting in some examples. And finally, here's my most surprising advice. Sometimes it's more useful to ask the AI to prompt you than the other way around. I call it reverse interviewing, and it's very simple. Just tell the AI to ask you questions that help to pull out an idea and clarify it. Often we kind of already know what we want to say, and we just need a little bit of help pulling it out and shaping it. So I did a whole video on this that I'll link to in the description, but if you've never tried this, it's especially useful for when you just have like the blank page dread or writer's block. Okay, that's it. You can try these techniques in a general purpose tool like ChatGPT or a writing focused product like Type, but drop in the comments, let me know any prompting advice I missed. Maybe I'll do a version 2 of this, and happy writing or prompting.